calls, no tools to use businesses management. I know it's head scratching, right? We had to convince ourselves when we started a business that we weren't getting this completely wrong, because why the heck aren't these big businesses doing it already? What's interesting is nearly 4% of the U.S. workforce works in a call center in the U.S. Nearly 1 out of every 25 people works in a call center. Not in California, right? We're too expensive here, but Utah, Nevada, Arizona, Florida, Texas, right? It's amazing. So what do we actually do? What's the solution? What's the problem we solve for that business? The marketing manager at DirecTV, for example, where if they want to test different kinds of media to see what's working, what's not, because that's your job as a marketing manager, is go spend budget effectively and get customers. You're measured on your conversion rates, your customer acquisition costs, all that good stuff. These are just some of the things that person would have to do if they wanted to test media to drive inbound phone calls. Right? You have to integrate with the call center. You have to integrate with your IT department. There's so many moving parts that make it so hard to do. We take, with our software, what would take a couple of people in your marketing department probably 6 weeks to set up a campaign, and we bring that down to one person in 10 minutes in a browser. So that's the change that we're bringing to the industry here. So a little bit about what we do, but the short version of it is we give you visibility into which of your media spend is working and which isn't. And we give you the tools to control, sort of like a magic funnel, right? Because if you are DirecTV and you're working with an ad network like ValueClick, right, from the department here, you want inbound phone calls because they convert at a really high rate, right? But you only want the good ones. You do not want low quality calls hitting your call center, because unlike a click, which costs you nothing, right? A low quality click runs on your website, it's happening all day. Every time your phone rings, it's costing you several dollars in call center agent time and related costs. So you want those calls because they convert really well, but you only want the good ones. So we bring not just that tracking and visibility, but a really incredible patented marketing automation platform for managing the flow of those inbound calls in real time. It's really complicated. So what we got asked, we actually just, where are we now, March? So in January, we closed a round of equity financing from a venture capital firm called Excel Partners. They're up in Silicon Valley. Some of you guys may have heard them. They're one of the top venture firms here in the world. And also our second largest investor is a group called Upfront Ventures, which is the largest venture capital firm in Southern California. So we just closed a $20 million round with Excel at about a $100 million valuation on our little company, which is pretty exciting. And what you get asked when you're meeting with these venture capital investors is, okay, you're smart people, you seem to know your space, you're taking your last company in the space public, I get it. What's hard about what you're doing? What's hard to replicate? Why can't somebody else with a bunch more money come in and beat you at this game? Right? So really what it comes down to is there are 4 things that our software does that in and of themselves are each very complex and technically rich and deliver a lot of value. But when you put them all together, it's very, very hard to replace. And it's the reason why we have such low churn in our business. I'll get to in a moment. So we provide attribution, right? That's a $5 word for call tracking, analytics, right? I mean, which of my spend across all these channels, online, offline, mobile, is actually performing to bring me customers, and which isn't performing very well? What should I spend more on, and what should I spend less on, right? In addition to giving you the visibility into what's working, we also provide you with this programmatic, rules-based, if this condition, then deliver the call over here, routing and lead scoring engine, right? That marketing automation platform. The same thing that the Marketos and Eloquas and Exact Targets do for that digital path to purchase, right? When you start online and you go all the way through, you stay online and you purchase on the website. We do that when that lead moves from online, meaning I went to your website, had some questions, and I called the phone number and I moved offline. We close that loop, right? We provide that platform. We also then integrate all of that very complex real-time information into whatever system you're already using to run your business. Most of the Fortune 5000 are already using some flavor of marketing software, right? So we have to integrate into all those. It makes it very sticky. And then lastly, because we also have most of the leading online ad networks, like the ValueClicks of the world, licensing our software as well, we're able to work with them to drive lots of performance-based media or distribution. Again, another $5 word for a bunch of small businesses out there that want to get paid for driving traffic to your call center, right? So we're able to bring the combination of these four. We wrap that in what's called sort of SaaS economics. How many people have heard the word SaaS? Right, so handful in the room. It stands for software as a service. Again, everything old is kind of new again. It's the same thing as the word cloud. It's the same thing as internet. What it really means is that our software resides on a server somewhere far away, and you don't have to download software into your computer. So investors like SaaS economics because it's high margin, it's very scalable. If we add 100 more customers, I don't have to go put 10 more servers into a room somewhere. So interesting separate conversation if people are interested afterwards in understanding about what SaaS and cloud computing are. But we have that type of economics, which makes it very attractive to investors. Results in Fortune 5,000 customers, very low churn, meaning when a customer leaves you, they stop paying you. Our churn rate is effectively zero because this combination is so lucrative and so sticky for our customers that they never leave. And in addition to signing new customers, our service is so valuable to these businesses, to the DirecTVs, the Home Depots of the world, that they grow what they pay us. Existing customers grow what they pay us, on average about 5% month over month. So not only grow revenue from new customers, but customers we've already brought on board continue to pay us more and more. It's a pretty sweet model. So again, at the end of the day, the results are revenue. And these are a sample of just some of the companies that are our customers and some of the companies that we partner with as well. And again, happy to take questions afterward. So if you're wondering what drives the business, why are people paying for this? If you look at the economics, a business like Home Depot, for example, is willing to pay a lot more for an inbound call than they are for a click to their website. Why? Because those calls convert into customers so much better and a higher average order value. So a typical business is willing to pay a lot more for that phone call than they do pay their media partners for a click. And again, quality matters. It's not just knowing where those calls are coming from, those tens of millions of phone calls, right? You don't want some media partner or some agency slamming your call center with thousands of low-quality, non-converting calls, right? I mean, here's an example, right? You're playing Farmville, and a little banner ad pops up and says, hey, would you like to get 2 free cows? Click here to learn how you can save 15% on auto insurance, right? So you're like, no more cows. And so you click it, your phone's making a call. Hello, right? The insurance company answers, you're like, where are my cows? So it's a pretty low quality call for a business like Allstate or Liberty Mutual or Progressive. So it's not enough just to know where those calls are coming from. You need the tool set to control what's actually hitting your call center. And that's unique about what we built. This is just sort of a scary Big Brother snapshot into some of the dozens of different criteria that we look at in a fraction of a second. 20 to 30 milliseconds it takes for our software to decide where to route that call, whether to put additional questions in front of the caller, which part of the call center to go to, etc. So is there complex technology behind it? Very, very. Right? It's a very complex real-time architecture, all in software. Software is absolutely magic, by the way. I don't know if any folks here are considering a career in technology, but software can do anything you can think of. I hate hardware business models, and I love software business models. It's amazing. Is it complicated? Yes. Is it really complicated? Yes. But you don't need to understand how the technology works. You don't need to understand the bits and bytes and stacks and protocols. Leave that to the engineers. You just need to understand the value that it creates for our customer, that marketing manager at the end of the day, the problem we solve for them. That's what we have our team focused on. We have a growing set of patents around what we do as an early stage technology company. Aggressively pursuing your intellectual property is critical. There are inexpensive ways to do it, but if you are building a technology company where the value of what you do for your customers is based in technology, if you're not patenting it, you're not going to make any money at the end of the day. So that's a whole different discussion for another day. So what it really comes down to is a team. Right? There are lots of great ideas out there. I firmly believe that a great team of high integrity, motivated, smart, driven people, all wrapped around the same goal set. A great team can take a decent idea a heck of a lot farther than a marginal team can take a great idea. So it really all comes down to the team. When investors are looking at your business, they know that your business model is going to change. They know that your customers are going to change. They know that your technology is going to change. They know that everything about your business is likely to change, except for the team of people that's doing it. So it is critical for you guys, especially as you're running in your careers. What matters so much more than can I make an extra few $1,000s this year is can I get with a team of people that I can learn from, that I respect, that at this early stage in my career, there are people out there that I can see as mentors, and I can start to put things into my toolbox, personally and professionally, they're going to help me in my career going forward. It's if I can leave sort of one, I'm not going to yet, but if I can leave one insight, I guess, especially for the students in the room, in my experience, every great opportunity that I've had, professionally or personally, has come from relationships. Right? You're not going to answer a want ad and go get that killer job. It just doesn't work that way. Right? It's almost a waste of your time to fire resumes off to job listings. Anything great that's going to happen to you in your world, in your life, is going to come from relationships, from who you know. Today it's your family, right? Your parents in many cases. They're going to start to become interesting to you again pretty soon. And going forward, it's your friends and your peers and your coworkers, where you two work together at a company and she goes off and starts one, and you want to go there, right? It's because she knows you that you're going to have an opportunity to join that exciting company. So build and cherish those relationships. By the way, I guess a side note, you guys aren't supposed to be tired, but how many people have a LinkedIn profile? Okay, so reverse that. How many people don't have? Don't be shy. Okay, LinkedIn is the professional version of Facebook. There are no resumes anymore. We interview tons of people. We're hiring a lot of people right now. We don't even bother with resumes. You go to your LinkedIn profile. It is your resume. Because in addition to seeing your experience positioned the way that you choose to position it, I can also see who we know in common. Right? And believe me, I'm talking to those people to ask how they know you before you're ever setting foot in our office. So especially for folks who are sort of the job seeking stage of your careers, clean up your LinkedIn profile, make it complete, make it professional, link to as many people as you know, because that's the relationship, that's the modern version of that business relationship. If you and I became friends and you linked to my profile, you'd all of a sudden be connected to people at nearly every interesting technology company in California, and then you're emailing me saying, hey, I'm interested in working at Google, right? I see you know so-and-so, would you mind making an introduction, right? That's how it works. So, sorry, I'll have to change there, but yeah, there you go. So at the end of the day, we've identified a massive multi-billion-dollar market opportunity that nobody is really servicing today. And you have to have the confidence to be willing to take that risk that even though someone else is not doing it, you're still the right people to go figure this out and go get it done. Yes, it's possible to discover large, underserved market opportunities still. And it's not enough of a reason not to do it, just that no one else is doing it yet. Right? Those market opportunities exist out there. Inbound calls are that most valuable, highest converting lead type for businesses out there. The market leaders delivering that CRM and marketing automation software aren't effectively serving that market today. We built a great solution for it, and we've got a team with a track record to go get it done again. So that's sort of the whole, I just took this literally out of our investor deck that we used to go raise money for that. So that's kind of it for the soapbox. Take some questions here.
Okay, thank you. I've got let's start this because I've listened to a couple of questions that I don't quite understand. So I understand the potential market and all those things. Somebody calls in, so they dial that 800 number. I'm not quite sure what you do in the other end. So if I called in this company,
so I will give a high-level answer, and then anyone who wants an actual more technical answer later, I'm happy to stick around. The short answer is the way that we do that, we're able to create a relationship between a particular piece of media, right? That could be a banner ad, that could be a search term, that could be a billboard or a bus bench or a TV commercial or a yellow pages listing, you name it, right? Any type of media placement, we create a unique relationship between that, let's say the keyword in this case, and a unique phone number, simply a toll-free number. So what's invisible to the consumer is, let's say you search on DirecTV versus Dish, right? That's probably a pretty common search. And DirecTV is one of the listings that comes up in the Google results. You click on it, you land on the DirecTV website. As that site is loading, our software code, it's called JavaScript code, sniffs the referring source out of that URL. You guys ever notice when you click on the website, sometimes this ridiculously long string of letters and numbers shows up, and it looks like gibberish, but in the back of your mind, you're knowing, why would that be gibberish, right? It must have a purpose. It does. These really long URLs or website addresses are passing what's called the referral code to the website. Where did this visitor come from, right? They're passing to your marketing automation software. And in this case, it's the keyword, right? It's wrapped up in all sorts of hidden code because nobody wants to disclose what keywords are working and what aren't. But our JavaScript code sniffs the referral source out of that URL. We know what to look for in there. And based on the source, we will then reach into our system, grab a unique phone number, and display it on the website as that site's loading. And so as you move through your website visit on the DirecTV website in this example, this phone number, this 1-800-whatever, that happens to be unique to you and this session and that keyword, but looks normal to you, is following you. So if at any point in time you have questions, you pull out your phone and you call the number on the website, that call routes directly into DirecTV's call center, right, or maybe through some of our filtering. And at the end of the day, that marketing manager can go into their software and see this call that lasted for 11 and a half minutes that came from your mobile phone number, which we dipped and threw your name and your street address and all the other stuff in there. That call came as a result of you searching on the search term DirecTV versus Dish. And that tells the marketer and the marketing software to spend more on that search term next time. It's driving you not just these online sales, but it turns out it's driving you all these sales in the call center as well, right? Without the visibility from the Invoca tool set, your software would say, that was a bad lead because we spent $4 when you clicked on it. He landed on the website. He looked at stuff for a while. He even started to fill out a contact me form, and then he disappeared. Right? Your online marketing automation software says bad lead, spend less on that. If you had the complete visibility, you'd know that in fact it was a great lead because he called in and purchased in the call center. Right? But today you don't have that visibility without it. So we use a massive network of unique phone numbers to make that happen.
So you have different phone numbers for each of these?
Yes, zillions.
Okay, that's the key, from my understanding.
We have a massive
inventory.
inventory.
If you just had one phone number, there'd be no way to do it.
Right, so I'll go one step further on the technology, because it's one of the more interesting things that we do. If you think about all these brands, they each manage, some of the big ones manage literally millions of keywords each, right? Think about if you're DirecTV, every phrase somebody might search on NFL Sunday Ticket Columbus, Ohio, right? That's probably a phrase that DirecTV's marketing department bids on Google. So if you think about that, there's unlimited, right? There's millions. So if we were to assign a unique phone number to each one of those terms for each one of our customers, the world would run out of phone numbers in about 10 minutes, right? So we can't do it that way. So what we've built and patented is this, what we call ring codes. You guys are familiar with cookies on a website, right? A website drops a little piece of code on your computer so that they know it's you next time you come back, right? We've essentially invented what we consider to be call cookies, right? We create a relationship that's time-based, it's a session relationship between that keyword or phrase and this particular phone number that we assign. And so that lives for whatever duration we set it for, and by doing it that way, I know this is a little bit complicated, by doing it that way, we're able to take a small pool of numbers, let's say 5,000 phone numbers, and manage a pool of 1 million keywords and give you very accurate tracking as to which keyword is driving those inbound calls. So again, if there are engineers in the room, by the way, can work for us, and if you're just interested in how it works, I'm happy to answer some questions on the technology afterward, but we'll lose 90% of the room if we go much deeper.
So at least I understand a little bit. It's just, I didn't understand there were all these various phone numbers. So that leads to this question, and it is, how does an entrepreneur, how do you manage this technical, because you kept saying this is very complex, we have engineers, clearly you're not writing this code yourself.
No.
how does a person who's managing the company know that they're doing the right thing, that it's ending up where you want it to be?
It's a very good question. So, I know we're getting filmed here. I hope that our CTO and our engineering team are not watching this, because I will lose what little technical credibility I have. I can tell you quite candidly, I am among the least technical in our company. I don't write code. The last and possibly only time I wrote any programs was on a Radio Shack TRS-80 back in 1979, 1980 in junior high. It was a pretty simple program. So I'm not an engineer. Yet I've had the opportunity over the last 20 plus years to help build some interesting and somewhat complex software companies. It comes back to, we talked about people a few minutes ago. Our co-founder at Invoca, Colin Kelly, is our CTO, our Chief Technical Officer. He was also our CTO at our last company, Hallway. He knows that I've got his back on the business side. We're going to figure out how to grow and capitalize and scale and take this company public. And he sleeps at night knowing that those are the things that I worry about, that I focus on. I know that he's got my back, our back as a team on the technology. I know that we're building the right things the best way because I trust him. So if you think you need to be an expert at every part of building a business, you're going to fail, right? As we get bigger here, I'm handing off more and more parts of my job to other senior managers in the company that we've been fortunate enough to hire. But I could not write 2 lines of code to save my life. I couldn't even copy our JavaScript code, which is only 2 lines. So you can have success in businesses that you don't have deep technical knowledge around if you're partnering with the right people. And by the way, those really technical, geeky people out there that can build stuff, they really need a business partner, right? You can't believe it. So it really goes both ways. It's a very symbiotic relationship between the sort of business and the marketing side and the technology side.
So that kind of leads to this last question, specific about your company. How did you build a team? How is a team built? Which is partner here? Where do these people come from? All relationships?
Mostly. At this point, it's interesting, we've turned that corner now where we're about 100 people, closing on 100 probably by the end of the month here. And we've turned that corner in the last few months where we're no longer just hiring people that came in through a friend sort of thing. We're getting hundreds of applications every week for the 50 plus jobs on our website. And we've begun to hire people we didn't know in some way before they came to us in the process. In the beginning though, it's absolutely relationship based. The beginning is a little bit scary. I mean, I know that there's some entrepreneurs here in the room that have started their own businesses. I would guess that there are a few folks in the room that have been running their own businesses for decades. They probably agree that it all comes down to people at the end of the day. It's very hard to scale without people in there that you trust. The beginning is scary. You're writing personal checks, convincing software engineers to leave stable, high-paying positions and come join your little startup that is in one room the size of this stage, right? The beginning is hard because if you make a mistake on a person when you're only 3 people, 5 people, 10 people, not only can it hinder your business, it can cripple your culture, right? That's something that's become incredibly important to us, is maintaining the culture of our business as we grow. If you come visit our offices in Santa Barbara, our main headquarters now is in Santa Barbara. We've got some folks spread around the country, mostly sales folks, but we've got about 80 something people in our Santa Barbara office today. We made a decision a couple of years ago that we wanted to become known as a great place to work. And so we invest a great deal of money and resource, over $100,000 a year spent on culture, on developing employee morale. This is being filmed again, so I gotta be careful what I say, but we have a full mid-20th century Irish pub in our basement, which is for employees and friends only. And it's, you know, the average age of the last 50 people that joined Invoca is probably mid-20s. So during the day, it's used as an overflow workspace, put some music on, do some whiteboarding. By 4:30, 5 o'clock, right, it slips into its traditional use as a pub, right? We've got, there's great beer on tap, there's bottles of interesting stuff lining the walls, there's ping pong, there's foosball, there's darts, there's piano down there, right? There's karaoke going on the big screen down there, big popcorn machine, all that good stuff. So we wanted to be known as a place where people wanted to work. And we work hard to maintain that culture. The only way that you can really do that, give people like that kind of freedom to make their own decisions. If I walk by and someone's having a beer at noon, I don't really care, right? It's not something that concerns me. Which they don't do it noon, right? But if you're punching a time card or wearing a name tag at this stage in your career, something might have gone wrong. We're looking to hire those folks that are true, high integrity, self-starters who want to do the very best they can for themselves and for their team because they care, because they have pride in what they're doing. So we leave people to make their own decisions about what's right and wrong. We don't measure by hours in the office. We measure by results. We do our very best just to hire those A players where each of our team members knows that they have each other's backs. The other piece of that, which I think is important from a company building standpoint, is I think it's very important for everyone in the company to think and act like an owner of that company. And in my experience, the only way to get there is to make everyone an owner. So 100% of our team owns equity in our company, right down to our receptions. I know that if we can be successful in delivering a life-changing outcome in terms of stock value here, if we're fortunate enough to put together another IPO, or Anna, our receptionist, or Boo, our tech support guy, or Chris, our sales guy, I know that if we can deliver a life-changing outcome for them, whether that's measured in 5 figures or 6 figures or 7 figures at this stage in their career, then I know everybody's going to do very well. So it's important to us that everyone feel ownership of the company, even our very youngest.
So every time you hire an employee, they would eventually own stock?
Yes, 100% of our team, including our remote folks, own stock in the company. It's in the form of stock options, which means you invest into them, you invest into that ownership over time. And that's a longer conversation I'm happy to take offline. But yes, 100% of our team has shares of stock in the company.
Okay. I want to shift off this particular company and talk a little bit about you. Graduated from UCSD. Why did you go to the Bay Area? You mentioned you went to the Bay Area and selling umbrellas. Why did you go up there versus someplace else?
Again, I'll have to leave some of the colorful details out because the camera running over there. But when we graduated from UCSD in 1990, there was not a lot of business activity there, at least not stuff I was interested in. There's always been defense and materials and healthcare there. But, back then Santa Barbara was where the elderly went to go visit their parents. And there's really no opportunity there. So I thought I was going to go get a PhD in poli-sci. In fact, I was registered and enrolled in Boulder. My friend Mark owns Freebirds, and I was going to open Freebirds in Boulder. I'm sorry, Mark, that didn't happen. And last minute, my girlfriend, now my wife, said, I don't think I want to move to Colorado. So it would have been good to know sooner, but I ended up going up to San Francisco to go visit friends who had graduated on time, so a quarter ahead of me. And they were having a New Year's party in San Francisco, so I went and fell in love with the city and moved into their living room for $200 a month and stayed, hence the umbrella sales as well. So came out of UCSB in 1990, worked my way up through some pretty meaningless jobs, ended up getting a job at a law firm, inputting attorneys' timesheets into their computer system at night. And that led to meetings with the attorneys there again, sort of relationship based, who started to pull me on to other very boring regulatory filing projects that they needed done. That led to me getting to know some of the people at what was our hottest client at the time, Nextel Communications, was what we called at the time. They had this crazy vision that we'd all be carrying around portable phones one day, which I wasn't sure that I bought into, but it sounded more interesting than doing regulatory filings. And so I joined over there as an analyst, again, lowest level position. Got to know some of the folks over there and grew through that role into the product ranks on the wireless side, which sent me down the path of a career in technology, a career in telecom, essentially. But it was really the prospect of employment that took me out there in the first place. We were fortunate to build Nextel, which is now part of Sprint. You guys probably heard of it. From there, we had a company called Farallon Computing. I was a little bit more involved, a little bit more senior there. We took that public in '96. And then I actually went to grad school for 2 years to Northwestern to get my MBA there in Chicago. And then back out to San Francisco, where, again, another sort of random turn, driven by relationships. I got pulled into investment banking, doing technology mergers and acquisitions. I can honestly say when I went into business school, I'm sorry to my professors now, but I could not have told you the difference between an income statement and a cash flow statement, and I'm not kidding. I had a degree from UCSB. I was the managing editor of the newspaper there for 3 years, the Daily Nexus, which was.
What was your major?
I graduated with poli-sci because that's what I had the most units in. By the time my second senior year started, I realized I had to get out of there. So nothing like taking 20 units of Marxism your last quarter.
Why did you pick Northwestern?
It was the only school I applied to because I had a friend of mine from UCSB who had gone there. We're all like 5 years out of school at this point. Everyone's in the working world. Back, you're in the grind. And my friend Mike goes to business school, and we go have a send-off party for him and his wife, his girlfriend at the time, gives him this purple Kellogg sweatshirt and never heard of him before. And so I went out to go visit him because I was out there for work one day in Chicago, and he's back in his shorts and wearing a backpack and riding a bike around, drinking beer every night. And I'm thinking, I gotta do this. So it was at the time, it was the #1 business school in the world, and it kind of bounces around the top 5 pretty consistently. And I had a pretty good job in Silicon Valley, and I thought, you know what, I'll apply there. And if I get in, I'll go. And if I don't get in, I won't. I'll keep doing what I'm doing. So I got in, and so I went. And that led to different relationships that drew me into a career in investment banking in Silicon Valley, doing mergers and acquisitions for technology companies, for software companies. Again, relationship driven, but I had a chance over about 3 years with Broadview to work on over $1 billion worth of transactions. It was an incredible learning experience, and the best thing that came out of it, besides making a little bit of money for the first time in our lives, was the relationships that came out of it. I mean, today, we just took in $20 million from Excel partners. Did we merit it? Yes. Was the partnership excited about what we're doing? Yes. But where did it come from? Where did the conversation come from? There's a partner there at Excel, Samir Gandhi, that I used to work with at Broadview 15 years ago. Right? Our other investor, Rincon Venture Partners, which is one of the largest Central Coast venture funds, Jim Adelman, the founding partner of Rincon Ventures, he and I used to work together 15 years ago, right? Different industries. So all those roads kind of lead back to those relationships that you're able to create and grow over the course of your career.
Jason, do you think an MBA is helpful? Not needed? Let me ask this one. What's the educational background of most of these people that you need to hire? Bachelor's degree, master's, high school?
So most of the people we hire are bachelor's degrees because they're young, right? People in their 20s for the most part. Business school, at least the good ones, want you to have 4, 5, 6 years worth of work experience before you go for an MBA because they want you to be able to bring some experience to the other students as well. So I actually just sat yesterday with a woman on our sales team. She's 27, 28, and she's debating whether to go get an MBA. She's one of our top salespeople, so I don't want to encourage her out the door at all. At the same time, I want to give her good, helpful insight.
By the way, you can get your MBA here by Monday.
I just found that out, actually. And there are so few graduate business programs on the Central Coast. There's nothing in Santa Barbara, I don't think, today. And
We have our program up and set.
That's right.
About commercials.
Right. So there's nothing, UCSB doesn't have its own business program, right? It's reaching down to Cal State to present that opportunity to students there. I think that, like anything, an MBA is what you make of it, right? If you just want to throw it on your resume, go get the cheapest online degree you can, check the box, right? If you want to get the education, I mean, like me, I went in not knowing the difference